Alright, this is part 2 of Euclidean from the Gauteng paper that was written in 2022, Euclidean Geometry. So this was question 9. It stated that ABCD is a parallelogram with AD parallel to BC and BA parallel to CD, right? So ABCD, this we have been told that this is a parallelogram, and we have been told that line AD is parallel to line BC and line BA is parallel to line CD. Now let's go to the question. The question now states that using the diagram above, prove the theorem that states that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal. Remember, under the properties of a parallelogram, we would say that angle C is equals to angle A, or the entire angle B is equals to angle D. So our job is to prove. Now we have to use what we are given. They didn't make any indication to angle A and angle C here. There are no markings, but look, where do we have markings? On B1 and B2, D1 and D2. And what else did they give us? They gave us a diagonal line. So we should use these angles and we should use this diagonal line to prove what? That we have got indeed a parallelogram. So the first thing which I'm going to do is that I'm going to utilize these parallel lines. Why? Because the moment I see the symbols of parallel lines, I know that my fan angles exist, my corresponding co-interior as well as alternating angles. So I'm going to start here. Angle B1 here is equals to angle B1 is equals to angle D2. So I write angle B1 is equal to angle D2. And my reason, I would say what? I've got line AD which is parallel to BC, but it's given. So I will say here, reason given that AD is parallel to BC. Done. Then I come here, I talk about angle B2. I say angle B2 here is equal to what? Angle D1 there. B2 is equal to D1. It's still given. Same story. Line AD is parallel to line BC. Then last thing, check. I have triangle ABD and triangle CBD. There is this broken line, the diagonal line BD. It's found on this triangle. It's found on that triangle. So now I say BD is equal to BD and it's a common side. So what do I have? I used an angle and angle in the side, which means that I've got AAS, angle side. And since I've proven angle side, I therefore conclude that ABCD is a parallelogram. Therefore, ABCD is a parallelogram. And just like that, I get my 5 marks and I'm done. The next question now reads, ABCD is a parallelogram with AB parallel to EG and EG parallel to DC. So these 3 lines are parallel to each other. Then if we come to the diagram, we see that we've got ABCD. Okay, what else do I see? I see the parallel lines which I were given. AB, which is parallel to EG, which is parallel to DC. And we were told that this is a parallelogram. Observe here next to point E, there is a marking which shows that this line AD is parallel to line BC, right? Now, what do they want? They say determine the value of W and X. So here on the diagram here on E, there is what? 2W times 2W plus 10 degrees. 2W plus 10 degrees. They want us to determine the value of W, and this is where W is. But now remember, I've got my what? My parallel lines. So my brain should be activated for what? It should be activated for fun angles. Why? Because observe, if I say B, A, E, G, D, let me draw it from point B to point A. So B to A, from A to E, A to E, from E to G, E to G. I write here, this is point B, this is point A, this is parallel to that. Then this is point E. Here, this is where there's 2W plus 10 degrees. What letter do I see here? I see letter F. And when I see letter F, it tells me what? This angle 2W plus 10 degrees is equal to angle A, because these two angles are what? Are what we call corresponding angles. And here on angle A, I was told from my original graph that there is 70 degrees. So now I say 2W plus 10 degrees is equals to 70 degrees. What is my reason? I say since line AB is parallel to line EG, I have got what? Corresponding angles. Now I must solve this equation. So now I say 2W plus 10 degrees is equals to 70. 10 and 70 are like terms. I transpose 10. So now I've got 2W is equals to 70 minus 10. And then I now divide by 2. I divide by 2 there. You punch your calculator, then you say, therefore, W is equals to 70 minus 10 is 60, and 60 divided by 2 is 30. So angle W is equals to 30 degrees. And voila, I found my answer. Okay, and now they want me to determine what? X. So X, where is it? It's here. At angle F, here there is 5x. I now know that my W here is what? 30. Now they want me to find this X, but I'm given 5 of them. Now observe, you've got point what? DEF. It's a what? It's a triangle. Let's draw that triangle to make life easier. So there is the triangle. Here I have 45. Here I found 30 degrees on point E. D, it was given 45. And then point F, this is where 5x is. So in other words, I'm now going to use the sum in angles of a triangle. They add up to 180 degrees. So in other words, I'm now going to say 45 degrees plus 30 degrees plus 5x is equals to 180 degrees. My reason, sum angles of a triangle. When I say 45 plus 30 degrees, what do I get? I get 75. So I've got 5x. Now I transpose this 75 to the right hand side. So I've got 5x is equals to 180 degrees minus 75 degrees. 5x is equal to 180 minus 75, it's 105 degrees. I divide by 5, I divide by 5. Therefore, my x is equals to 21 degrees, right? Because 5 into 10 is 2 and 5 into 5 is 1. X is equals to 21. So voila, I've solved for W, I've solved for X. Done with the first question. Now they say calculate the value or the values of Y and Z. Where is Y and Z? Observe, Y is here. Now, what do I want you to see? Be very good at recognizing shapes within this parallelogram or any shape that you may be provided with. So, I've got triangle A, B, D. And angle A, I know it's 70. Angle D also is given, it's 45. I must find angle Y. So I'm going to use the sum angles of an interior angle, right? So now I'm going to say 70, let me erase. I can't force everything here. So now I say 70 degrees plus 45 degrees plus y are equal to 180, and I'm saying some angles of a triangle. That's my reason. 70 plus 45, it gives me 115 degrees. So I've got 115 plus y is equals to 180. I must transpose this, it becomes a negative. So y is equals to 180 minus 115. Therefore, y is equals to 180 minus 100. What do I get? I get 80, and 80 minus 15, I get 65. So therefore, my y is equals to 65 degrees. So there I have found that this is 65 degrees. I'm now left with this angle only, which is 70. But let me go back to my information. I must never forget. I must pay attention to detail. I must be like a detective. Why? ABCD is a parallelogram. And what do I know about a parallelogram? The opposite angles are equal. So here I don't have to calculate. I just say angle A is equal to angle Z, which is equals to 70 degrees. And then my reason would be opposite angles of a parallelogram, a PAM, P-A-R-M. And just like that, I get my marks. And we're done with this. I hope you see that this is easy. So on the next video, I'm now going to deal with past exam papers which talk about the midpoint. But if you have found this video to be helpful, please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Till next time. Thank you.